In Miami during the sprint race, Lewis Hamilton did something that shocked not only fans, but also his own team at Ferrari. On a track that was unpredictable, in conditions that were difficult to read, Hamilton made a decision that completely changed the way the race played out. While most drivers waited for instructions or followed the usual strategies, Hamilton used his experience and instincts to make a bold call. This wasn't something that came from a data sheet or a conversation with his race engineer. It came from inside the cockpit, from a driver who has spent decades reading the smallest signs on a track. And in this moment, that deep knowledge and confidence made all the difference. The track in Miami wasn't completely wet, but it wasn't dry either. It was in between, making it hard to know what tire would be the best choice. The grip was different in every corner. Some parts of the circuit were fine, others were slippery, and many drivers didn't know how to handle it. Most teams were looking at the weather radar, waiting for someone else to make the first move. They were frozen by fear of making the wrong call. But Hamilton saw the opportunity. He made the call himself to switch to soft tires earlier than anyone else, and when he did, it changed everything. This was not a typical strategy decision. It wasn't a slow conversation over the radio with several people giving their opinions. Hamilton didn't ask. He told them. He made the decision with clarity. It wasn't reckless, it was confident. And soon, the whole grid saw what that decision meant. The soft tires gave him more grip, and with that extra grip, Hamilton started moving forward like no one else. His lines were perfect, his exits were fast, and he overtook car after car. In just a few laps, he turned what had started as a difficult race into a powerful performance. Hamilton's decision was not just about tires. It showed something deeper, a driver who knows how to take control, who trusts his own judgment more than the computers, and who isn't afraid to take a risk when it matters. Ferrari, known in recent years for overthinking and hesitating, suddenly had to watch as their driver took control and proved them wrong. While their data may have said the track wasn't ready, Hamilton's feeling told him it was. And he was right. When Hamilton crossed the line in third place, it wasn't just a good result, and it was a message. It was a moment that told Ferrari they had something very special in him. After weeks of problems, bad upgrades, and disappointing results, this performance was a moment of hope. It was a reminder of what's possible when the team listens to the driver. It also reminded everyone watching why Ferrari signed Hamilton in the first place. Not just for his speed, but for his race intelligence, his leadership, and his ability to make something out of nothing. This kind of performance can change more than just one race. It can change the energy in a team. For Ferrari, it showed what can happen when they stop second-guessing and let the driver lead. Hamilton didn't just earn points, he earned trust. Trust from his engineer, from his strategist, from the mechanics on the pit wall. That kind of trust can turn into something powerful, especially in a season that has not gone well so far. It's important to understand how rare this kind of instinct is. Many drivers today are trained to follow instructions. They rely on the team to tell them what to do. But Hamilton comes from a different school. He listens to the car. He feels the track. He knows when to act. And in Miami, that skill gave him a clear edge. In a moment of uncertainty, when others hesitated, he moved forward. That's not luck. That's experience. That's talent built over years of racing at the highest level. This also puts pressure on Ferrari to rethink how they make decisions. If a driver like Hamilton can see something the team misses, then maybe it's time to give him more say in the strategy. Maybe the key to turning the season around isn't just about updates and upgrades. Maybe it's about listening, letting the driver have more freedom, giving him the tools he needs, but also the space to use them his way. The emotional impact of that sprint race result can't be ignored either. Ferrari had been under pressure. The car has struggled. The results have not lived up to expectations. Even Hamilton had shown signs of frustration in earlier races, but in Miami, that changed. This performance gave the whole team a reason to believe again. It gave them confidence heading into Sunday. Instead of walking into the Grand Prix with doubts, they now had proof that the car, in the right hands and with the right choices, could compete. Hamilton's driving was sharp. Every move he made after switching tires showed control. He wasn't sliding or taking unnecessary risks. He was attacking, but in a way that showed total awareness of the car and the track. That's what made the difference. He wasn't just fast, he was smart. He knew exactly what the tires could do and how long they would last. That kind of decision-making can't be replaced by numbers. It has to come from the driver's seat. Ferrari's reaction after the race also showed how surprised they were. This wasn't their plan. This wasn't the approach their data supported, but it worked. And now the big question is whether they will learn from this. Will they give Hamilton more freedom to lead? Will they start trusting him more during tricky conditions? Because if they do, this could be the start of something much bigger. The Miami Sprint wasn't just about a podium. It was about a shift in the relationship between driver and team, a shift in how decisions are made, a shift in how Ferrari approaches the rest of the season. This could be the moment they stop holding back and start letting their top driver lead them forward. And if that happens, then what we saw in Miami could be remembered as the turning point, the day Ferrari stopped fearing mistakes and started trusting their instincts. Hamilton's influence on the team could go far beyond this one race. He brings more than just race wins. He brings clarity, direction, belief. These are things Ferrari has struggled with in recent years. Too often they've played it safe. Too often they've hesitated. But now they've seen what happens when you take a chance. When you let a champion make a champion's call. That lesson could define the rest of the 2025 season. There's also something important about how Hamilton handled the pressure. He didn't panic. He didn't argue. He calmly made the decision and made it work. That's the kind of leadership that builds respect, not just in the garage but across the whole paddock. Other teams saw it too. They saw what Hamilton can do with just a small opportunity. That sends a message, a reminder that no matter how tough things have been, Lewis Hamilton is always a threat. Ferrari now has to choose their direction. Do they return to their old ways, relying only on data, overthinking every move? Or do they embrace this new energy, this new confidence that came from Miami? If they do, then this could lead to more podiums, better strategies, and maybe even wins. Hamilton has shown them the way. Now it's up to them to follow it. This moment can also affect the mood of the team going forward. Confidence is a big part of success in Formula One. When a team believes they can fight, everything becomes sharper. Decisions are faster, pit stops are cleaner, and communication improves. One strong performance can light that fire. And Miami might be that spark for Ferrari. Hamilton didn't just race the sprint. He changed the way his team thinks. He showed them that being bold doesn't mean being careless. It means trusting your ability, even when others don't see what you see. That kind of mindset can carry a team through hard times. And Ferrari has had many hard times this season. But now they have a reason to believe that better days could be coming. What happens next is just as important as what happened in Miami. The team now knows what Hamilton is capable of when they listen to him. Will they take that lesson into the next race? Will they build their plans around his strengths? If they do, then the sprint result won't just be a highlight. It will be the start of a comeback. It's also important to remember that this wasn't a perfect car. The SF25 still has problems. It still needs development. But even with those problems, Hamilton was able to deliver something special. That shows how much potential there is if they can give him a better package. It shows that with just a few right decisions, they can go from struggling to competing. And this brings us to the bigger picture. Ferrari didn't sign Hamilton just for his driving. They signed him to change the culture of the team, to bring leadership, to help them make better choices, to guide them when things get hard. Miami was the first clear example of what that looks like. If they learn from it, this could be the start of something long-lasting. Other teams will also be watching. They know what kind of driver Hamilton is. They've seen him win championships, and now they're seeing that even in a new team with a car that's not perfect, he can still shake up a weekend. That's something no one can ignore.